Opposite Force Parkour. Today we're going to work on the dive roll. I've been actually promising this tutorial and this little progression video for about a week now. A lot of you guys out there have been asking me to make this video, so I just want to give a quick shout out to Connor Creel. What's up, buddy? I know you're really looking forward to this video, as well as Mikhail Davis. You expressed some interest in the dive roll, so we're gonna go ahead and get started, and hopefully you guys will be throwing your dive rolls a little bit better. Prerequisite you're really gonna need for the dive roll is going to be mastering your parkour roll. So we're gonna put that right here. It'll be there for a couple seconds, couple more seconds. Let's say you've already mastered your parkour roll, or you feel pretty comfortable with it. Now you want to start throwing some awesome dive rolls, but let's say you're hurting yourself, or you're just finding out that they're really slow, or you filmed one, or you had somebody film one for you, and you looked at it and you were just like, that doesn't look like a dive roll. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to go through what you guys might be doing wrong, some of the mistakes that you might be making with your dive roll. The first and biggest mistake people are making with the dive roll is that they think it's like a gymnastics roll, and it's not. It's just like the parkour roll. It's a shoulder roll, okay? So the technique from the parkour roll, you're going to implement directly into your dive roll, and they're going to be almost exactly the same thing, all right? The only difference is the fact that you're going to be diving into it. The way you exit from the dive roll is exactly the same as the parkour roll, except for you'll probably have a little bit more momentum. If you don't have more momentum in your dive roll than what you do with your parkour roll, then that means you're doing it wrong. Alright? Another thing that you guys are probably doing is you're like torpedoing yourself into your dive roll. And the reason why you're doing that is because you're not getting enough lift from your legs. You're not kicking your legs up above your head, you're leaving them out behind you. And I'm going to show you what that looks like, and I'm going to explain why that doesn't work. As you can see, that was awful. that was pretty bad. So I'll go back and I'll slow that down so you guys can see it. But the main reason that was so bad was because I shot myself straight over the obstacle and into the ground. Alright, so we're going to show you guys how to correct that by getting this box out of the way real quick, and I'm going to show you something you can do real quick to teach you where your legs should be and what you should be doing with your body. Real quick progression that you guys can do to start getting your dive roll is to actually go from your parkour roll, and instead of doing your standard parkour roll, you can start throwing yourself into more of a dive roll. Alright, when you're doing this, I want you to think about getting your feet up above you so that you're almost going completely upside down and not just shooting yourself out forward. You want the legs to come up. You want them to generate lift coming up behind you. Now, the more speed you can throw into it and the more distance you're willing to throw into it is going to help. Now, if you probably noticed, maybe you didn't, but I'll explain it. I threw my arms up. The reason why you want to do that is because it's almost like the set of a front flip. But do not punch. Don't punch. That's another mistake that a lot of you guys are making in your dive rolls. You're punching, stopping, and trying to throw yourself into your dive roll. You don't want to do that. You want to use the split step, the striding technique. That is the foot placement that you want to have when you're throwing yourself into your dive roll. It's going to maintain more of your momentum, and it's going to allow you to get the feet up to allow them to generate lift. So what's this super secret tip that I've been promising to get you guys to make your dive rolls better? It's actually just a little bit of a handstand form. Okay? You don't need to be good at the handstand. Actually, you could have never practiced a handstand in your entire life. That would be fine, because all that you're going to do is you're going to go up on your hands for a split second, less than a second actually, and you're going to allow yourself to collapse into your hands, and I'm going to show you what you should be doing with your hands. What I do with mine is that I place one hand down like this, and I place the other one coming in. And the reason why I do that is because it allows me to roll in and come over my shoulder. So make sure your hand placement is right. If you're coming down and your hands are just doing crazy stuff, most likely you're just going to roll in onto your side and it's going to completely destroy your dive roll. So practice your hand placement. And actually, if you've already nailed your parkour roll, you should have the idea of throwing that hand placement down done. That should already be good. So think about the hand placement, think about what you're doing with your body, and let's do this little handstand thing real quick. Okay, so all we're going to do with our handstand is we're just going to sort of throw our body down onto our hands. You want to make sure that your hands are already in the position that they would be in for your dive roll, and then you're going to allow yourself to collapse into that roll form. You will actually get more momentum, and you will get natural momentum as you come in down on your hands. You tuck your head into your roll, and you allow your body to naturally roll into the parkour roll form. So you just go in on your hands, tuck, and roll up. And when you first start practicing it, you don't need to throw a ton of speed and you don't need to throw a ton of power. But what I want you guys to do is come down to the understanding of a bit of a contradiction. When you're doing the parkour roll, you want to be fluid, but you want to be rigid at the same time. You don't want to just sort of SpongeBob jellyfish into it. And what happens when you jellyfish into your dive roll is this. You open up, or you get a splinter from something. You open up, and what happens when you open up and you jellyfish is you lose all of your momentum. Think about it. When you're tight, you roll faster. You rotate faster. When you're open, you slow down. So you need to maintain that tightness in through the roll to ensure that you complete it and that you exit properly. Okay. You fellas are training almost in reverse. I've seen a lot of you throwing yourselves over picnic tables without your roll, without having proper form of your roll. I've seen some of you guys throwing yourselves over chairs and ledges and all kind of stuff, off of balconies, just crazy stuff, without ensuring that the form of your dive roll is where it actually needs to be. It's at the level that it needs to be. That's backwards. The first thing that you need to be doing is working on your progressions and honestly strengthening your core. Strengthening your core will allow you to ensure that you're getting the proper roll and that you're actually protecting yourself just in case a roll doesn't go well. More muscle and more conditioning will prepare you just in case something goes wrong. So again, we're going to put a little video right here. You can click on that. It'll be there for a couple seconds. That's going to be about strengthening your core. That's one of our Fitness Friday videos. Are we ready? And okay, so while you guys are out there training, I want you to think about your obstacles. This one's pretty good for me. If you are at the point where you feel like you're ready to start throwing yourselves over some obstacles, actually diving over some things, I'm going to show you the best way to do that. As I showed you before, which I'm just going to show you what happens, the issue that you fellas are having, is that you're diving really shallow over the top of the obstacle. So you're literally getting too close and you're just doing this, all right? You don't want to do that. You actually want to go up and down so that it seems like the obstacle doesn't even matter. It's not even there. The only thing that's important is the dive roll, and that will actually teach you how to dive roll over just about anything that you can get your body, that you can get your abdomen over the top of. All right? So, I'll walk you through the steps. I'm going to throw my arms up. I'm going to create a hollow back position like this as I'm coming over the top. I'm going to kick my back leg up as I'm coming through into my split step, which this will actually be my left. So as I'm coming into my split step, my left leg will come up. That will generate lift. I will be almost completely upside down as I make impact with the ground. I'm going to make impact with the ground, absorb all the kinetic energy, allow it to disperse, roll into my natural parkour roll form, and then I'm going to step out and keep on going. That's number one, about stretching the neck. Stretching the neck is simple. You can just hold yourself at your traps and rotate your neck. You just want to get some heat in there so that your neck is nice and limber. You don't want it to be super tight. And number two, practicing your progressions at a steady level. Yes, the dive roll is simple, But it's interesting that the most simple moves can harm you because you become complacent doing them, okay? So throw your dive roll into your training sessions once you get it nailed really well, and make sure that you're getting that neck down and that you're getting your legs up almost above your head before you make impact with the ground. And then you can start making some bigger dive rolls, some longer dive rolls. Don't start doing crazy stuff going off of 2-story buildings like some of these idiots are doing out there. And have some fun, all right? So please like, share, subscribe. We are the Opposite Force Parkour, and go out there and get your roll on.
We're gonna have a nice little groove.